Conversations with Kelly.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Conversations with Kelly. I am here with Joanne Ryan of Ronald McDonald House of Charities today. Thank you for coming into the studio with me.
Thank you for having me. This is so great.
And let's just talk about our shoes. We planned this. We decided to match today. And if you don't know Joanne or haven't seen the cover that we did with her, you're missing out because she has the greatest shoe collection ever. I have the clothes, she's got the shoes, and unfortunately my feet are way too small to fit into your shoes.
That is unfortunate because there could be so much good sharing.
But I've known you for, we've known each other for a long time. And
quite a while.
Crossed circles, yeah. And we've recently, over the past few years, since you've been at Ronald McDonald House, we've been doing different things together and doing the gala, and then also the Women, Wine, and Shopping Day that we're going to be bringing back again this year.
Yay.
Different location, but we are bringing it back. And tell us a little bit about your role with Ronald McDonald House, and then I want you to share, for the people who don't know what Ronald McDonald House really is. I get that question a lot when I am sharing different things. What is Ronald McDonald House, and what does it do? And I'll kind of chime in because I have a personal story with it. So tell us a little bit about you.
So I am so blessed to be there. I'm the president and CEO of the Ronald McDonald House chapter here in Rochester. There are 387 chapters in 65 countries. So it's a global mission.
Wow.
And the interesting thing, it is huge. And we just came back from an international conference. There were 50 countries represented, 1,700 attendees.
Wow.
And it was just it was amazing.
Where was that?
It was actually held in Chicago, kind of the easiest hub to get to for the world. But the best part about it is we're all serving the same mission, but we're serving it with a unique spin, which means that we will surveil our communities and figure out what the needs are. And then we actually are responsible for helping to support families with children in care. And meeting their needs is our primary responsibility.
So my niece, last year, she had issues with her child that was born and needed your services, and she raved about you guys and the care and the extra attention that they receive. So tell us a little bit about the facility here and what does Ronald McDonald House do, and what support do you provide for families?
So really what we do, to distill it down to the simplest terms, is we clear all barriers so that families can be at the bedside as often and as much as possible. Families come from all over the world because of the state-of-the-art pediatric care here in Rochester between URMC and Rochester Regional Health. The really nice thing is that when a family is coming to us, even if they're from Rochester, that moment that they have that critical diagnosis or that news that an accident or an injury has occurred, their world stops. And they are fully focused on one thing, and that's the care for their child. Rarely do these families think about themselves. Rarely do they think about eating or getting a good night's sleep or even grabbing a shower.
Which are
essential.
Yeah,
essential.
And they're really important to help them to
Absolutely.
Keep going.
And for the child. And there's a lot of research and data that says children will recover faster and better if they have someone they love and trust at the bedside. So our goal is to make sure that family is as accessible and available as possible. So they can come as often as they need to, as long as their child is in care, and they can stay as long as they need to with no cost to them. We are 90% philanthropically supported, so a huge shout out to the community for their incredible support.
Wow. I didn't even realize that it was 90%.
Yeah, so we are really blessed to have the ability to have opportunities like this to really bring awareness to the community, to help them understand that not only supporting us here in Rochester, but we're supporting families from all over our region. And it's just a gift because without this, families would be commuting back and forth. They would be sleeping in uncomfortable chairs, in the lobbies, in their cars. Yeah.
Yeah. Because, I mean, with the cost, too, of if you have to have a hotel room or having to order out food,
Right.
having all of these things that you don't think about, laundry.
Right. And we have about 3,000 individuals that come through. That's about 1,000 families a year. We have over 8,000 family nights that we provide, and we save families over $2 million a year in just transportation, food, and lodging.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a little small engine that has a great big mission. And the beauty, again, is I've heard my staff say it. Families come in and on admission, they're in crisis. But I've often heard them say, just breathe, we've got you. And that is so powerful when a family is, in a state where they don't even know what step to take first. And it's really interesting. This morning, I was talking with one of our senior leaders about, if you think about it, it's like two worlds have just collided. You have a family that has been moving in their normal orb, and now this overlaying of critical injury or illness or diagnosis, and they're thrown into a world of medical acronyms and jargon and decisions that they never probably even thought they'd ever make. And in those moments, there's only so much energy. So how do we help them keep that energy so they can focus on their child?
Tell us about, so you write a column for Rochester Woman called Minutes Matter. Mm-hmm. Where did you come up with that tagline?
So this is one of the, I'm a nurse by background, and I really can probably count on one hand the number of things that really have defined how I really advanced in my role. This was one of those moments. I was in this role for probably about 4 weeks. We had our first golf tournament, and I had prepared remarks, and we had a family story. We always will open one of our events with a wonderful family story. Mm-hmm. And this amazing mother regaled the story about her child who had, at their 12-week ultrasound, they found out that they were having a little girl, and they were elated. They had 2 little boys at home. Their family would be complete.
Aww.
And then within the same moment, they also found out that she had a profound cardiac defect, one that probably would result in her not living beyond delivery. So imagine that. Anyone who's carried a child, loved a child, knows a child. You get this amazing news, and now you have to take this 12-week point in your gestation through 40 weeks, preparing to meet your child and then saying goodbye all at the same time. So she's regaling this story, and I'm sitting in the audience with our guests, and she was speaking about how she stayed at the house within the hospital. We also have 7 private rooms, private ensuite baths right at Strong Memorial Hospital, in addition to Westmoreland and other family rooms throughout the city. And she's sharing this story about the fact that we were there allowed for her to have time with her daughter and time at the bedside, and that her daughter only lived 3 weeks, but that she had all that time with her those 3 weeks. So I'm listening to this, and I am completely overwhelmed. And I'm thinking to myself, how am I going to follow this besides?
Right.
So got up to take the moment to share my remarks and said, I have prepared remarks, but there isn't anything I can say that can be nearly as powerful as what you just heard. And I sat back down, and then the next immediate reaction that I had was, oh my gosh, the board's probably thinking, well, that was a really good pick. So on the way home that night, I just kept thinking about this 3 weeks. How do you cram a lifetime into 3 weeks? And it hit me that was 30,240 minutes. And we gave her every one of those minutes back with her daughter.
Oh.
And when I got back into the office the next day, I said to the team, we are so much more than food, transportation, and lodging. We give families minutes to either help their child heal or to prepare to say goodbye. And that's where the whole Minutes Matter started. And it's just become sort of our tagline for helping the community better understand that their support is really giving that family minutes.
It's just so amazing what you guys do. Your staff is incredible, and you have such a great team, such a great community involvement too. I know you recently had renovations done, the kitchen.
Yes.
And then I watch, on your social media, and I see, oh my God, they brought in teams, businesses that come in, and they'll make breakfast or lunch or dinner.
Yeah.
I just think that's so incredible that you're able to take the community and then take these families and kind of put them all together so that people can actually see what's going on. And then, these families can have a few minutes of downtime and time to just sit back and be like, okay, I can take a minute for myself and
That's exactly what it is, Kelly. It's providing an environment where they can step away and sort of gather and collect themselves to go back and face sometimes the unimaginable.
Yeah.
And the house is a beautiful reflection of anyone's home. And we invite everyone to come visit.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
It doesn't feel clinical at all.
No.
It doesn't feel like you have to be in a position where anything's expected of you. You can just come and be. And the congregate opportunities for like meals being shared with other families is really powerful because they glean strength from each other. I do have an amazing team, but someone who's walking your journey is going to be able to help you in a very different way.
Right. And tell us a little bit too about what sort of things do you have coming up? What are some of the big plans that you guys have at Ronald McDonald House?
So we have a few signature events each year. The next one that's coming up is on September 27th, and it's called Be a Hero. And this is a really great community collaboration. Yep. Be a Hero, we have been operating for it'll be 35 years next year. So for 34 years, we have been providing services to the Rochester community and beyond. And 38 years ago, this actual fundraiser started. So 5 years before we were even open, it was held for the very first time in the open field where the Westmoreland House stands today. And this is a combination of 92.5 The Bee and Channel 10. And they have been partners with us for 39 years, helping the community to understand more.
So the whole time?
Whole time, every year. So Be a Hero is just this sort of icon for this collaborative opportunity. And it results in it's a phone-a-thon, if you will, but it's more than that. It's so fun. We invite community folks to come in and man the phones. Yes.
I definitely want to do it.
It's so much fun. And we will feed you.
I couldn't do it before. I was gone.
You were gone, yeah. But we will feed you all day long. It starts at 5:30 in the morning and it ends at 7 at night. So it is an entire day of stories and interviews and opportunities for footage, for live feeds, or just taped and pre-recorded family experiences. And it provides, again, this opportunity for the community to hear more about what's happening and to really, if they are able, support what we're doing.
That's awesome. So normally your gala is usually at that time frame.
Usually it is, but we moved our gala into spring. So our gala will be next April 12th, and that'll be at the Rochester Riverside Convention Center.
Saving the date. Last year.
I know.
Last year we did, you guys did it was like,
it was
what was the
Glitz
name?
and Gatsby.
And I ended up dressing as Lady Diana.
Oh, the year before. You came when we did Back to the 90s. Yes.
Back to the 90s.
And you were,
That's what it was.
And you did a pretty rockin' Lady Diana, I'm just going to say. It was really well done.
People were coming up to me and they're like, oh, I love your hair. And I'm like, really? It's a wig? And then there were people
tiara was the topper for me.
and then it was so funny because there were people that like I knew that they turned around and they're
double
like
take. I think I was one of them. You walked in with blonde hair and this tiara and I was like, is that Kelly? That's Kelly.
That's Kelly over there. But it made me look completely different.
Well, you were writing character, I have to say, my friend. So
yeah, it was fun. It was definitely a fun.
Yeah, that was our Back to the 90s, which was great because the house opened in the 90s. So it was wonderful. We had pinball machines. It was just totally fun kind of vibe.
Yeah, it was definitely, and watching some of the people come in with their outfits and like, one was MC Hammer.
Yep.
You got this whole spectrum.
Totally.
But then, I was like, Lady Diana was like perfect.
Absolutely.
And nobody else thought about that aspect of it. So
it was very well done. And I got to wear my Pretty Woman red dress, which I was having a ball in.
But it was so perfect for you. That was like,
the 90s were fun.
Totally perfect. And then it's a nice time to be able to not only support Ronald McDonald House, but to get out and dress up. Yeah. Because I feel like we don't get to do that very much anymore.
Last year we had Glitz and Gatsby, so it was kind of a throwback to the 1920s. We had casino tables, and it was just, just beautifully again. I have an amazing team. My development team is just outstanding. And then this year, a little sneak preview. The save the dates are just about to go out, but it's going to be a golden ball. And it's going to be a golden ball for two reasons. It's the 50th anniversary of Global Ronald McDonald. worldwide.
Wow.
And also, we just came back from the 50th anniversary international conference, which was wonderful. But it's going to be a golden ball, but it's going to be anything from golden ball caps to golden ball gowns. So just come in gold and have a good time. April 12th, that's at the convention center.
Okay, I'm saving the date.
Save the
Everybody
date.
save the
Save the
date.
date. And then
wow.
yeah.
Okay.
So Be a
All
Hero
right.
is September 27th. And then
Yep.
we have Casino Night, which is going to be on November 7th.
Oh.
And that, again, is the casino tables were so well received that we decided,
it's
all right,
so
let's
fun.
just have an
It's-
event.
Yeah,
And it's-
I know a couple people that, we've done the casino nights with. It's a huge hit. It's such a success.
Yeah.
And everybody has a ton of fun.
Ton of fun. And it's play money. So I think folks are just really getting into it. And
yeah.
So, and then, that will be
Okay.
our final sort of big event for the year. And then we'll start the year over again with kicking it off with the gala on April 12th.
Well, I'll be helping with whatever you
Thank
need
you.
for
Thank you.
for all of that. What else? What else can we talk about? And I think people get confused too. McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
So we did a cover earlier this year with 3 of the amazing female owners of McDonald's. And I think they own 16, 17. It might be even
Collectively,
more
yeah.
now collectively. And one owns 13
Right.
of them. So that's pretty fabulous in itself. But I got to meet them through you guys. And it was just so great to be able to talk with them and have them on the covers. And but people don't generally know, okay, what is the synergy between McDonald's and the Ronald McDonald House? So, all right, tell us a little bit about that.
That's a great question. I'm asked that question every time I speak publicly. And there's a little bit of confusion because everyone kind of assumes that McDonald's restaurants actually support Ronald McDonald houses.
Right.
They don't fully, from a financial perspective, though they are supporters of us. They are our forever and founding partners. And here's the really cool history. So go back to 1974. It's the Philadelphia area, and a little girl named Kim Hill is sadly diagnosed with leukemia. She's age 3. Her dad is Fred Hill, who was the tight end for the Philadelphia Eagles. So back then, there was very little that could be done, but there were a lot of very passionate people about caring for children with leukemia. Her doctor was Dr. Audrey Evans, who was an amazing force, which, by the way, there's a movie coming out the end of this year called Audrey's Children. I highly recommend it. We got to see a sneak preview of it in Chicago. She was exceptional, passionate, just this powerhouse of a woman. Little tiny woman, big powerhouse. So Fred Hill and his wife, Fran, were actually at the bedside with Kim every day, sleeping in uncomfortable chairs, taking turns sleeping in their car or in the lobby, trying to make sure they were close to her, but still being able to have some degree of support for their own needs. And Dr. Evans saw this every single day for every child she treated. And to her, that was just inhumane. So now, because of his platform, Band of Brothers, the Philadelphia Eagles, were there visiting. And Jim Murray, who happened to be the general manager of the Eagles, was there one day when Dr. Evans was there. And he said to her, "Thank you so much for this excellent care you're giving Kim. What can we do for you? How can we thank you?" And if you knew Dr. Evans or read anything about her, you knew that you didn't ask her what you could do unless you were absolutely prepared for the answer. And she gave him an answer. She said, "Well, you can build me a space that families can stay humanely close to their children when they're sick." And so Jimmy, again, a general manager of a football team, kind of was back on his heels saying, "Oh, okay, what does that look like?" And she said, "Well, there's a wing in this hallway that we could renovate that." So he went back and told Len Trost, who was the owner of the Eagles, she wants us to build her a house in the hospital. And basically what they did was, Len said, "Then find the money." So Jimmy reached out to a very good friend of his who was a McDonald's owner-operator and said, "Can you help me? I have no idea how to do this." And so his friend said, "Well, you know what? It's March. We are relaunching this product we had. It was an epic fail. It was called the Shamrock Shake. We changed the recipe. We're going to try it again."
My favorite thing.
Mine too. So Shamrock Shakes actually were the first fundraising vehicle for the very first Ronald McDonald House. All the restaurants in the Philly area 100% of the proceeds, which was a quarter back then, went into building this wing, which then gave them a springboard to build the first house. So the very first Ronald McDonald House was in the Philly area, associated with Children's Hospital of Philly.
Wow.
Thanks to Dr. Audrey Evans.
The hair just went up.
It's just an amazing story. And the best part about
incredible.
that was that Jimmy's friend said, or Jim called him and said, this is amazing. Thanks to you. We have this house. And he said, do you think we could call it the Ronald McDonald House? And Jim Murray said, we'll call it Hamburgerville if you want. We're so grateful. So that's the history. And we were the 128th chapter to open in the world. And every chapter has to have a McDonald's owner-operator as a sponsor.
Okay.
A community lead. And also a clinical lead. So for us, it was Dr. Richard Hokelman, who was associated with Strong Memorial Hospital. Mm-hmm. Nancy Robbins was our community lead. And Richie Guan was our McDonald's owner-operator. So that's the history of how we were co-branded, and they have been our forever and founding partners since.
This is amazing. And I'm going to give you more information on Ronald McDonald House, how you can get a hold of their team, how you can donate if you're interested, or sponsor. There's a million different things. Mm-hmm. You can bring your team in and make lunch or breakfast. Mm-hmm. There's so many different ways that the community can get involved mm-hmm. and help out with the Ronald McDonald House. Mm-hmm. So I will be definitely sharing that, and stay tuned for so much more. I am hoping that in the near future we can talk Joanne and her team into doing a podcast called Minutes Matter. Mm-hmm. So that's where my brain is. Because, I never sleep, so I'm always thinking about these things. But thank you for taking the time out and coming on Conversations with Kelly and sharing about the Ronald McDonald House.
Thank you, dear friend. We really appreciate this.
Thank you.